Horns Up, Talking Texas podcast. Joshua Fisher, Nikki Snacks Kreider, and Alex Tossman the Rock Tosopoulos. We lost, so get your horns up, cuz here we go. Horns Up, Talking Texas podcast. It's in games that have the head coach has lost in Texas history by one score. 82% of the games that Sark has lost has been by one score.
Okay.
If you look at this game, if I told you that a Texas defense would have 6 sacks, 14 tackles for a loss against the number 4 team in the nation, one of the most high-powered offenses in the Big 12, an offense that could do a myriad of different things, would you have said we won or lost the game?
How about this? Let me add one other thing in there.
Do it.
Sure.
A team that finally scored more points in the second half than they did in the first half, too. This is the first time we've done that this season.
Have we gotten shut out in the first half
No.
in the last 10 years?
I'm sure. I actually don't know.
Offensively, the what I reminisce about and think about when I watched the game on Saturday was our really early days in college when we were between Case
And David
Ash.
Yeah.
Where we were really struggling to put any sort of points on the board.
Which is crazy because it's like, if you feel like you're struggling, give it to your Heisman candidate. You didn't have any catches this game.
None. Only 3 guys had catch. I mean, Billingsley had the drop. Nothing from Kane. Nothing from Red, who we saw the week before.
Well, three crucial drops early in this game.
Sanders and Billingsley had each one.
And Worthy had a drop too.
Yeah.
All catchable balls.
It just seemed like the focus wasn't there.
Yeah.
Especially if you're getting blanked in the first half. And look, TCU is a good team. They're undefeated, number 4 team in the nation. I'm honestly might be a bad Texas fan here, but I'm kind of pulling for them to go all the way.
At this point,
I think it'd be really cool to see. They deserve it. But sucks for Gary Patterson, who thought that this was going to be a game where he can smack his old team up. And look, I think they played great defense.
Yeah.
You held them to 17 points. I just do not understand how you have your guy Quinn Ewers not playing to any potential that you thought he would be.
The defense gave up 17 and they scored 7 on the scoop and score.
Right.
So their net was
offense
10.
didn't score any touchdowns themselves.
And they got... What I don't understand is there was like a 3rd or 4th down wildcat. Dumb. We were like 1st and goal, Roschon was in the game. I love Roschon. 1st and goal, 2nd goal, Roschon's still in the game. And the 3rd and goal, okay, now you bring in Bijan to not even use him. Is he or is he not our best player?
He is for sure. But he's the best player in college football. There are draft boards, multiple draft boards, that have him number 1 in the NFL talent pool.
He's, in my opinion, not the best offensive player in college football, but he's up there, of course, as far as running backs goes. He's a top running back, I would say, as far as talent. 12 carries, 0 catches. How do you only get the ball? And it's not like he's a wide receiver where you could really only throw and maybe an end around or 2. You can get the ball to Bijan in so many different ways. How does the only way he get the football 12 carries and that's it? How does he not have 5 catches? Okay, the run's not working. They're stacking the box. How are you not hitting him in the flat? How are you not hitting him on a wheel route?
I say it every week. Sark needs to stop calling the plays.
I mean, I don't get why so many of the plays were, hey, Worthy, you try to beat the deepest guy, and we're just going to bomb it to you and overthrow you.
It looked like a very desperate game.
When it didn't need to be. The game
We were a
was
7-point favorite.
It's not even about being favorites, dude. It's about, like, we were in the game pretty much the whole time. We had a chance at the end to tie it. Like, we had multiple times where we were in the red zone, multiple times where it was goal, and the offense can't score a point. This is an offense. Yeah, the OU defense, the OU offense stunk, but like their defense, it means Venables, we put up a boatload of points against them. We put up a boatload of points against Kansas State. All of a sudden, the offense gets pretty much blanked outside of a field goal. Like, it was just a pathetic game all around.
Once again, you know, another team playing Texas's offense schemed to make Quinn Ewers beat them, and they was successful.
Yeah.
They loaded the box for Bijan. They were not going to lose that game on account of Bijan's running ability. And at a certain point, you're right, Josh, there are multiple ways to get him the ball. I saw something in the Cowboys game that I thought was really, really clever, actually. They threw Tony Pollard on the outside and threw a little bubble screen and had 2 wide receivers block for him. Of course, NFL wide receivers typically are better blockers than college wide receivers. But still, it was just it was an interesting way to get him the football. And it's a shame, really, because when you're watching the game as a fan and you're seeing your defense and you're like, yes, another great stop by the defense. All right, offense, you don't even have to do much. Just do something. I think in the first half it was tough because we were playing the field position game, and TCU certainly won that battle, right? But when we got that field goal, how did we get the ball? Was it off of a turnover?
I don't remember off the top of my head. It was, at that point, it must have been 4 or 5 beers deep. Look, I mean,
surprised it wasn't more, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'd switch to something hard after the halftime. Look, the thing was with this defense is like you couldn't have, outside the Miller 75-yard run. What else can you add? It's like one of the better defensive games we've seen them play in our tenure, all season, and in our tenure since we've gone there. Like 6 sacks, 88. Sorrell was everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, they
had a great game.
I mean, Duggan had negative 40 yards rushing.
He had under 150 passing. Outside of
you know what though? But I thought he quarterbacked a good game though.
Solid. He had that another broken. There are 2 broken plays
in comparison to what Quinn was doing on the opposite side.
I mean, trying to do too much.
He's basically said on every big throw that they made, it was I'm gonna let Quinn Johnston make a play here, and I'm gonna put him in a position where he can succeed.
Right. Yeah, there's also an instance where Cook, who was the deepest guy, fell off of Johnson and had him an easy touchdown.
Yeah, that was a blown.
So
coverage.
A broken play, the 75-yard run. Outside of that, they have 3 points as well on offense. So you could point to 2 plays that were just unfortunate situations. And look, if those are the only 2 times they're scoring on offense for touchdowns, you could give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt.
Is Quinn hurt? Is this what it is?
That's what I was thinking. I don't know, dude.
Because I mean, his shoulder injury that he had in the Bama game, it seemed like it would keep him out for a long time. But it was not his non-throwing shoulder. But still, like if your body's not right. Like, we've been seeing it with Justin Herbert all season long. Like, he doesn't look like he's the same guy that he was last season because he had the rib injury.
Some of it's, I bet some of it's mental, right? I think, like, the last 2 weeks I've been a little critical of him not being willing to tuck and run.
He had 1 run in the game that was solid.
But I didn't even feel like his burst wasn't really there.
Right.
Like, it wasn't necessarily confident. It was just such a wide open gap.
Do you think we would have won with Hudson?
I don't know. It's hard to say. But
I would have loved to have seen him get a shot.
You also have to consider as well that once you get hurt like that in a season, that's in the back of your mind all season long. I don't want it to happen again, right? So when that pocket is collapsing and you're feeling the pressure, you're just trying to get the ball out as quickly as possible, and that forces errant throws.
Yeah.
I thought
but where they had these guys beat multiple times where he just zinged it to the stands.
Yeah.
He pretty much threw it to the student section.
He's got the yips right now.
Oh my God, his deep ball is nowhere to be found. It's like Chuck Knobloch yips. Like his deep ball, the guy, and we saw him exemplify a good deep ball in previous games. He just can't see it down there.
I mean, like perfect NFL level throws.
Yeah.
Intermediate, deep, and short passing game.
I'm like sick to my stomach about all the hype about the recruits, all the talk now at the bar and watching the game is Arch going to start next year? And then this is like, and I said at the beginning of the year, if Arch Manning is starting next year, that means our season was a disappointment this year.
Definitely. 100%. Here's the thing, though. This team wins out, 8 wins. Potentially go to the conference championship game. If West Virginia beats Kansas State, Texas wins out, we are in the Big 12 championship game. And if they win that, that's 9-3.
Yeah.
Then you get to go to a bowl game, a pretty good bowl game. If you win that game, that's 10-3. There's no way. 10-4?
Yeah.
We have 4 losses?
No. Best record we can have is 9 wins. 9-4.
Sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Which would be over the 8.5 that we were projected at the beginning of the season. That we all took over, of course.
By no means is that a failure.
It's not,
especially if you win the Big 12 championship game.
Sure. Then yeah,
which is with insights to give the quick breakdown there. If Kansas State goes to West Virginia and loses, and the Texas football team wins out against Kansas and then Baylor, then we would be playing TCU once again and get another crack at them.
And if that's the case, I do not want TCU to go all the way. But
right,
of
course.
Last week when we played Kansas State, I was in a group text, and there was one guy in the group text who was getting ragged on because he was saying that win, albeit we won, and great, we go into Manhattan, beat the number 13 team. Bijan had an amazing day, which you give the guy 12 touches after he goes for 2, whatever. And one of the guys in the group text, not negative, but was not fully satisfied with the win because the way we played in the second half. And everyone was ragging on him. And I think that was unfair because now we go to this week where we're riding the high. We're riding the high of game day. We're ranked in the college football playoff. Nighttime game.
We're favored in the game.
We're favored. We beat Kansas State, like I said. And everyone's riding this high that was deserved but not earned because we came out flat in the second half offensively of that game. And when we come out flat, it hurts the defense because the defense is on the field more frequently and longer. Complementary football, we say it all the time. And yeah, an 8-4, 9-4 win season, the best case scenario would be unbelievable. To me, honestly, like it's still not good enough. I know we won 5 games last year, but the way we lose these games, like coin flip a couple moments, couple changes in the game script, and we could be undefeated. And that's why, to me, I can't be here. I can't sit here and be like, all right, well, we're better than last year. Yeah, we were supposed to be better than last year. Last year was a complete bomb. It was a bomb. We bombed last year. It was a failure beyond. It was a biblical failure. We may have to
just accept the fact that we're cursed. That someone forgot to take Madame Zeroni up the mountain.
No,
and they cursed our family.
Shout out to them. But
yeah, I mean, I look at this. This game was once again
best defensive game I've seen in a long time.
But offensively, execution from the players and coaching as well. It's a tandem, right? The two go together. I mean, we were 1 for 13 on third downs. You know why we were 1 for 13? Because on first and second down, we were not getting enough yards to put ourselves in a position where it was easy to get past the sticks.
Yeah.
And then I look at what they were able to do. And yes, our defense played fantastic. But Miller averaged 6.5 yards per carry. He did not go. I know, but he did not go down easy between 1 and 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. He at least was getting 4 or 5 almost every single time,
especially late in the game.
I thought our guys on the outside contained incredibly well when they threw to the bubbles, when they threw to the flats. Our guys tackled tremendously, and obviously
18 tackles for losses.
Yeah,
14. Yeah,
and we pressured the QB really, really well.
Yeah,
but it's just that's a simple football thing where it's if you can get 5 on first,
yeah,
it makes it so much easier. And we were just pass happy, and it was unfortunate.
How many attempts did Quinn have?
37.
37 attempps, and only 3 guys caught passes.
And we only had the ball for 22 minutes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, duh. You went 19 of 37.
They outpossessed us by 15 minutes.
Because you're killing the clock every time he throws an incompletion.
Of course. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's really simple.
But that's what happened in the OK State game. What was your biggest takeaway texting us during that game, the OK State game?
I blocked it out. Oh yeah, long
game,
super long.
Because all we're doing on these drives is killing the clock. When you kill the clock, you allow the team to get back. You keep the door open for the team that was down in the Oklahoma State case to get back in the game. But for the TCU situation, by the time where he's getting these chunk plays in the end of the game, like you're talking about, Toss, our defense was gassed.
Oh yeah.
I used to play Madden, competitively, in ranked play.
Yeah. And
my strategy would always be drain the clock while I'm on offense. There's a selection button where you can literally drain the clock all the way down to 0 almost before you run the play. So every single play, doesn't matter what quarter I was in, would be that and to run the ball. So that guy would literally have one opportunity to really score. I'd have one possession the entire half.
Yeah. One of the best Madden players in the world
that's
only
Madden.
runs the ball.
That's Madden. But in football, time of possession is huge. Keeping your defense fresh, controlling the game. When you control the game, when you control the clock, You have the biggest advantage.
Derrick Henry on the Titans, like Tannehill's fine. They just run the football. Adrian Peterson ran for 2,000 yards with Christian was a quarterback, Christian Ponder, Gus Farrow. I don't even remember the year he won MVP, and they went to the playoffs.
And guess what? That team's defense has the best defensive third down stop rate in the NFL because a lot of the times
they're fresh. Yeah.
And clearly our guys
certified fresh
on Rotten Tomatoes. Shout out Mark Ellis.
Yeah.
No, I mean it makes a difference when it's they let up 3 points in the first half. They played tremendous, and it's a shame that our offense didn't give us a better crack at winning this game. Obviously, it's a really savvy TCU game. I think we talked with Quan about what this means, Gary Patterson, what this means for our team, this being a more pressure game for TCU than it was for Texas. But we didn't really talk about Sonny Dykes and what this game meant to him.
He's a great coach.
He's a great coach. He also has history with the Texas football program too. They have Jared Wiley on their team. This is a team that
but they're trying to go to the playoff.
For sure.
This is huge. Every game for them is big.
And you have to be focused and you have to be disciplined, and that they were. And I hope we get another crack at them. And obviously we got to take care of business.
There's recruits there too. There's recruits there too that TCU can go after.
Definitely. For sure. 100%.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's probably not going to happen this season about Sark taking a step down and not calling the plays, but all these losses translate from the offense. I think defense does enough in every single one of the losses that we've had so far. You look at the Bama game, you look at the Oklahoma State game, you look at the Tech game, you look at this game. Our defense played a pretty good job. Yeah. Oklahoma State,
Tech too. I felt like
yeah, but they're gonna get theirs.
They were great. I mean, we'll talk about we'll preview the Kansas. Yeah.
Well, we'll preview the Kansas game later on this week. I don't think that they're going to stop letting him call the play. I don't think he's going to stop calling the plays this season, but it's going to be a good look in the mirror for next season. Okay, I got to get my guy who knows my system, who knows my philosophy, who knows our players, who knows our scheme, and have that guy focus on the play call so I can just manage the game. I can manage my players. I can get our guys to focus. I can motivate them because at halftime, there's no way Sark is spending a lot of time with the defense. He's going over to the offense and just running over X's and O's the entire time, and that's not what a head coach is supposed to do.
I mean, sure, but he needs to. If he is doing that, he's not doing a good enough job of it either. So he's not doing what a head coach is supposed to do, and if your assumption is correct, and B, he's not even doing a good enough job at that because the adjustments are terrible.
That's what I'm trying to say. He has more time to focus on being a head coach when he lets the offense go.
Yeah, and who knows what that game looks like if it were in Fort Worth instead of at DKR.
Does Jim Harbaugh call the plays? No. Does Saban call the plays? No. Does Franklin call the plays? No. The best college coaches don't. Ryan Day, does he call the plays?
I don't think so. Only he might. Only the one that does is Lincoln.
Whatever, and he still hasn't won a championship yet.
Sure. I mean, I'm really just worried. I guess the play call, more so the play execution. The play call, whatever. The play execution, there's there's a couple drop passes and a lot of missed deep balls.
Lack of focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people who are
lights are too bright.
True football savants, especially quarterback gurus, are starting to come out of the woodwork and say Quinn is incredibly undisciplined in the pocket. The way he can throw with great arm angles, but a lot of times he doesn't need to. Right,
he's too cool for school sometimes.
He's trying to make the sexy play, and a lot of times it's just an easy check down or it's an easy across the middle read or whatever it is. But
he's immature.
You know what I want to see?
Yeah, he's young.
Next season, obviously, this season's not a wash, but we're going to look to next season for all these adjustments. Cut the mullet. Cut the mullet. Cut the beard. Focus. Don't be this personality. Don't be this mullet guy. Just focus on football. Get your NIL money. Get your bag because whatever, that's good money. But don't worry about anything else outside of football.
I completely agree.
Just focus on throwing the ball because there's a guy coming up sniffing that ass who might take your job next season. Yeah. He does not play around.
I mean,
he's throwing us out of 2 games. Also, how about this? If I'm Hudson Card and I see that this is what's happening right now, and I'm the type of guy that loves Texas football, which Hudson also grew up a UT football fan, I want to do whatever it takes to put my team on the map, to keep winning games, to get us to the Big 12 championship, to get us to the college football playoff. We very well could see a 3-horse race coming into next next offseason.
Oh, sure. I mean, if Quinn in the Kansas game starts going down this rabbit hole again where he's throwing us out of it, I would love to see Hudson.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that Kansas game with Quan. We'll talk about the Gonzaga game also coming up on Wednesday with men's hoops. Moody Center. If it's anything like Quan was saying, we're going to pack it loud. Unfortunate loss. Hopefully we bounce back with the win, go to 7-4.